Welcome to a very blustery Donington Park for round 2 of the ThundersportGB Championship for 2016.
Welcome to Donington Park for round 2 of the ThundersportGB Championships for 2016. You're looking at the Aprilia RRV 450 GP race here, the RST Leathers Aprilia Challenge. And there is Sam Cox, number 54, 1 point behind Will Keynes coming into this event after Brands Hatch. And there is Will. Nice to see both Will and Sam going so well earlier in the season. There's Will Hodgson. Will Hodgson, a regular now in this 450 Aprilia Challenge, always fighting for a podium. Keelan Irwin there, you can just see a couple of places further back. Keelan Irwin third in the championship coming into this event here at Donington Park. Round 2 then of the championship, and away we go. Look like a decent start there from Will Keynes, number 7, as we head down towards Redgate and turn 1. In second is Keelan Irwin. No, Keelan Irwin manages to get himself a great start there and does lead into turn 1. You can see a few of the pretty Superteen riders further back there on the Aprilia RRV 450R, the R standing for restricted, and the 125s as well, the 2-strokes, but we'll see a bit more of those a little bit later on. We'll highlight the 2 races. So for now, we'll just concentrate on the 450s out front. Will Keynes, the championship leader, coming into the event here at Donington Park, but on circuit there, it's Keelan Irwin who just about has the advantage. We're on board with the Irishman now, number 69. You can just see there, very wet, some big puddles as Sam Cox flies through on him. But this will give him a chance now to get in the slipstream and immediately pulling out. Some excellent drive there from Keelan Irwin, and he retakes the lead back. In third is Will Keynes, number 7. Will Hodgson, number 14, just in 4th place. Back onto the start-finish straight we go then. Just there in Alex Taylor, number 9, going well in the early stages. On the Scott Racing Motorcycles machine, number 196 there, Jack Tynan as well. Nice to see Jack out there, former Thundersport 500 rider. Keelan Irwin on board with, and he loses out again to Sam Cox, this time into turn 1. Not able to bounce back straight away this time. Down through Craner Curve. Sam Cox it is that leads then from Keelan Irwin and Will Keynes. Then Will Hodgson, number 14. On board now with Keelan Irwin, and that is Will Keynes just going underneath him. But Keynes runs slightly wide. This will give Keelan Irwin a chance to try and fight back. You can see the wet tyres being used there by Will Keynes, the championship leader from Brands Hatch, as he now tries to hunt down Sam Cox. Still a bit of rain in sections here on the circuit, as there goes Jack Tynan, 196 from Reading. Jack, once he gets properly used to this 450, he is going to be a threat throughout. On board now with Will Hodgson. Well, oh, a bit of a wobble there, just up ahead. That's Will Keynes, who almost threw the bike off the circuit, but that was Will Hodgson going underneath Keelan Irwin. And now we're back on board with Keelan Irwin again, and he manages to go from 4th up into 2nd place. So good move that from Keelan. Onto the start finish straight we go. It is still out front the number 54 of Sam Cox that has this advantage. He took the lead here just a lap ago. There is Will Keynes, who's now fallen behind Tynan. Number 9 there again, we see Alex Taylor. He's just up behind 93, Matty Rangeley. Matt, who's been on the podium on a few occasions in the 450s himself, will be looking to now close the gap up on this group out front. Sam Cox it is then, with the advantage from Keelan Irwin, Will Hodgson, Jack Tynan, Will Keynes, Matt Rangeley and Alex Taylor. Alex Taylor, they're getting really aggressive, but having to go on the curbs, and he's lost all momentum on board again here with Will Hodgson. Now looking at Keelan Irwin, the Irish rider on the Scott Motorcycles Aprilia. Up around Schwant's curve and now into McLean's. Lovely move that from Will Hodgson. The back is 58, Tristan Finocchiaro. And now from McLean's up towards Coppice. So they're all grouping up nicely. Connor Wheeler's also making decent progress in that pack, number 96. But look at the lead here for Sam Cox as he pulls away. Keelan Irwin has, of course, fallen behind Will Hodgson thanks to that great move. It's just given Sam Cox a bit of a breather out front, and it will give him even more of a breather now that Keelan Irwin has just gone back past Will Hodgson. So whilst these two tussle it out for the remaining podium position, Sam Cox has just got clear circuit out front. And the worst thing is, for these guys, they're actually, their fastest laps, we're talking about Keelan Irwin, Will Hodgson, etc., are actually quicker than Sam Cox's fastest lap at the moment. It's just that they cannot hunt him down because they're just tripping each other up. Desperate to try and lead the second pack. There's Will Hodgson then in third, just up ahead of Alex Taylor, number 9. That's Jack Tynan, number 196. Then it's Matt Rangeley and Will Keynes. Will Keynes has struggled a bit on these last couple of laps. You can see spots of rain again on the camera lens there. But no worries so far for Sam Cox. You just knew that once Sam Cox got back to winning ways, as he did over at Brands Hatch, that they would start coming like buses, and that's exactly what's happened. Great rider, Sam Cox, and one of the most lovely chaps you could ever wish to meet off circuit as well. Will Hodgson here going up underneath Keelan Irwin, and Keelan Irwin struggled for traction there. Had a bit of a rear end wobble, so onto the back straight we go. Will Hodgson it is that moves back into second place, but not for long. Keelan Irwin moves through, and so does Jack Tynan. Great move there then from 196 Jack Tynan, and now he gets into the slipstream of Keelan Irwin onto the start-finish straight down into turn 1. Look at the group of riders all queuing up to try and get themselves on the podium. Here's Will Hodgson. He's just been overtaken by 2. There goes Matt Rangeley and number 9 Alex Taylor through. Alex Taylor from Southwater, another of the Scott Racing motorcycle riders who's making excellent progress in this race. No one can catch Sam Cox at the moment. There's the battle for second then. Keelan Irwin it is, number 69. Will Hodgson and Will Keynes just losing a bit of ground. There is Will Keynes. A lot wetter down on this part of the circuit, over by the old hairpin and up through Schwant's and McLean's, than it is over by the start-finish straight. Around McLean's corner there for Keelan Irwin. Just up behind him now is his teammate Alex Taylor, on board with Will Hodgson a few places further back. They tip it in now to Coppers. That's Matt Rangeley, number 93, just on the right there. He's got the inside line though, so Will's going to have to go the long way round. Let's see whether he can get this move made. Yes, he can. Just good move that from Will Hodgson. There is Keelan Irwin and his teammate Alex Taylor then. They're being joined by Jack Tynan. That's the battle for second place. A couple of seconds up the road is this man, Sam Cox from Malden, on the RSR Motorsport Aprilia. Cox here looking to try and extend, or sorry, get a championship lead that he can take with him into Snetterton. Snetterton round 3 of the ThundersportGB Championships at the start of May, and I'll certainly be hoping for a bit better weather than we've got here. There's the lead then for Sam Cox. It's a comfortable advantage for him, but he's going to have to be a bit careful. You just saw there one of the Superteen riders just being gobbled up by 1 or 2 450s here. This is the battle for second place. Keelan Irwin leading it just at the moment, but one mistake can see you falling out of the top 5 altogether. Ooh, we're on board with Will Hodgson. He had to just go slightly wide there down into Coppice to avoid running into the back of Keelan Irwin. Now we go on to the back straight, and again Will Hodgson forced to go the long way round. Look at that, that's Alex Taylor going up the inside of his teammate Keelan Irwin, or attempting to at least. The pair of the Scott motorcycles stay ahead of Will Hodgson for now. Jack Tynan 196 got some good drive onto the start finish straight, and now he challenges Will Hodgson. The last lap flag is out. One of these well, probably a couple of these riders are going to be very disappointed not to finish on the podium. Sam Cox should be home and dry out front, as we see there Tristan Finocchiaro moving up a place. So good ride from him. There's Sam Cox just going past number 8 Connor Thompson, who's one of the Superteens on the 450R, the restricted motorcycle. Now we're on board with Will Hodgson. Oh wow, what a move, Will Hodgson there, going past Alex Taylor, but then just struggling to get the bike stopped as he hunts down Keelan Irwin up ahead. This is the battle for second place that you're looking at. Then Keelan Irwin just up ahead has got it at the moment from Will Hodgson, and Will Hodgson up the inside into McLean's. Great move there then from number 14. Will Hodgson for now is in second place. Up into, God, this corner got a bit tight through there. Will Hodgson barging his way through the pack, and I think he might have just done enough, you know, to hold on to second. But what about third? We're on board there with Keelan Irwin. Looks like he'll just have to fight it out now with Jack Tynan, but it's been a brilliant display here from Sam Cox. Number 54 thoroughly deserves that. The checkered flag goes out. He takes the win. In second place it will be just Will Hodgson from Keelan Irwin. Good battles all the way through the field there. Jack Tynan, number 196 it is, that takes fourth spot. 0.2 of a second behind Will Hodgson in the end. Alex Taylor was fifth and just misses out on the podium, and Matt Rangeley finishing in sixth place overall. Good win then for Sam Cox. Centre of your picture. Let's find out what he had to say.
Sam, so nice to see you back up on top spot. It's a different year for you this year. You've had some disappointments, you know, in the last couple of years, but you're back.
Yes, thank you. Ever so proud of that race. Just tried to be as smooth as I could and try and keep my head and my focus. But we talk about the disappointments I had over the years, the last couple of years. There's been a few key people that have stood by me throughout that time, which is one from Ian Newton and my mum and dad and Myra Newton and whole of Thundersport. But also Rob Wright, he's a sponsor of my bike, and he's stood by me and been really, really good to me. So really grateful for him. And I also lastly like to say thank you to all the marshals who stood out there and toughed out the brutal weather that we've had, and keep it up. Thank you.
Well, I was talking to Will Hodgson, about Will and to your mum and dad, and they were saying that you'd done every single Thundersport round.
Yeah, absolutely. Since 2008 on my little white Superteen bike with a JNS, and yeah, every single round I've been here. Back then it was 54 Superteens in the championship. It was like pretty unbelievable, really. So to go from there, being wobbly bob at the back, to now here, it's fantastic, and I'm really proud.
Join us again after the break, and we'll bring you highlights from the Dunlop Aprilia Superteens. Welcome back to Donington Park. It's time for the Dunlop Aprilia Superteens. They were part of the 450 race that you just saw before the break. But now it's time to focus our attention on the teeny bops, who will be a bit further back on the grid. Now, the majority of them, you'll see, are on the Aprilia RRV 450R machines, the restricted 450s. You'll see one or two zippy 125s as well, and we're on board immediately with Rhys Irwin, brother to Keelan Irwin, who races in the 450s a little bit further ahead, and immediately you can see the two groups forming. That's Cade Verwey just going up underneath it. Cade, who had a decent round, of course, last time out at Brands Hatch, but Rhys Irwin, who we're on board with here, going down into the old hairpin and just losing a spot there to Jack Scott. Has the championship lead, or did have the championship lead. That was until yesterday. We're on board now with Cade Verwey on the XG Group Aprilia 450R, and that is Jack Scott just up behind. So you're going to get a good idea here as we go on to the back straight as to the differences in speed Here we go then. Jack Scott there on that Aprilia 125. You can see they're just a little bit out in terms of overall speed, but Jack Scott making up for it as they get themselves down into the tight and twisty sections here of this Donington Park National Circuit. Cade Verwey, number 77, and Rhys Irwin look like they're going to be battling it out all season long for this championship. And Jack Scott there, look at that, going around the outside, having to use the corner speed there of his two-stroke to get himself back into the lead again and back into the frame. Rhys Irwin just in third place. We're on board here with Cade Verwey. Look, using the power of the 450R. If you're wondering, well, what happens to these bikes after they're finished with them, of course, the restricted 450s? Well, it's quite simple, really. You just de-restrict them, and hey presto, you have the 450 ready to race in the class above. The great thing is, as well, is that they're out on circuit with them, so they can learn a bit from them as well. Number 24 and 78. 24 Max Lofthouse, 78 Matt Bauer. Those guys at the moment just inside the top 6 overall, but this is your straight battle for the win. On board now with Rhys Irwin, the Irish rider, going past Jack Scott into the chicane. So Jack Scott really having to work overtime to get that RS 125 up with these two 450Rs, and look, already trying to break away from the 125. They head down into turn 1 on board with Cade Verwey. That's Rhys Irwin just on the right of your picture. Number 66. Rhys on the podium a couple of times last year in the Aprilia Superteens, but this is his first time out on the 450R. Likewise for Cade Verwey. So Verwey it is that leads this one, 77. 66 is Rhys Irwin, and 55 is Jack Scott. Jack Scott here just trying everything. This part of the circuit, he is able just to close up, but it's certainly on the grunty parts of the circuit where that 450R is getting away from them. On the back straight, Cade Verwey dealing with a bit of traffic. Rhys Irwin having to stand the bike up, and likewise for Cade Verwey. They almost run into the back of another machine. Onto the start-finish straight they go again, side by side. The two riders that we fully expect to see fighting it out for this championship overall, along with Jack Scott, all just look at that. You could throw a blanket over them as they go down into turn 1. A yellow flag out there, so they'll have to resume position heading through Craner curves. The rain started to come down again in the latter stages of the race. Rhys Irwin then got his nose out front ahead of Cade Verwey. And as the rain continued to pour, you wondered whether or not Rhys Irwin would be able to stretch out some sort of a lead. But Cade Verwey fighting back again, got the inside line here down into the chicane. Jack Scott still in touch there on the RS 125. Onto the start-finish straight again. Of course, the Donington National Circuit here for these three. Irwin now going into Redgate corner and just leaving the door open there, and Cade Verwey happily takes that back off him. Now this is the part of the circuit where you're going to see Jack Scott able to just close in. He's not close enough to make a move through Craners, but Verwey leads again. There's been a number of lead changes here as Rhys Irwin just goes slightly wide down into the old hairpin. You can hear that two-stroke there of Jack Scott's desperately trying to get on terms with the two 450Rs, but as soon as they get onto that back straight, they're just able to eke out enough of a lead. Across the line once more then, down into turn 1. On board here with Rhys Irwin, putting a challenge here on Cade Verwey. Down into turn 1 on this final lap for the Superteens. Jack Scott then a bit of work to do if he wants to challenge these two for the top step, and he's really going to have to try and close that gap up, or hope that both of them in front really trip each other up. No such luck for him at the moment, but Rhys Irwin it is that has the advantage at this stage with half a lap left. Cade Verwey in second, Jack Scott there in third place. It doesn't look like Jack Scott is going to be able to close that gap. Onto the back straight we go. A fight down to the line, into the final chicane. Cade Verwey on the inside there, number 77. Is he close enough for a move? He certainly has a look, but Rhys Irwin really late on the brakes, closes the door, The checker flag awaits, and race 1 here at Donington Park in the Superteens goes to Rhys Irwin, the young Irishman, looking absolutely delighted with the 25 points. Second place then went to Cade Verwey, just across the line, and Jack Scott, despite his best efforts, wasn't quite able to get there. Half a second down in third place. Connor Thompson finished in 4th, Jake Clark was 5th, and Max Lofthouse in 6th. Top 3 on the podium there then: Rhys Irwin, Cade Verwey and Jack Scott.
Cade, a couple of wins yesterday, and today second place, but difficult out there.
Yeah, it was a lot of overtaking. Like every lap there was at least like 3 overtakes on like every corner. Yeah, it was yesterday I kind of ran away from everyone, I don't know why, but today I had a good battle with Rhys and Jack. It was good. Yeah.
Do you like these new RRV 450Rs then, the restricted 450, eh?
Yeah, I love it really.
Well, it shows in your results for sure. Who have we got to thank?
I've mainly got to thank my dad because he does like everything to the bike and to help me out, but XG Group, Ian Newton for making the bike. I mean, it's a good bike. In competition, Thundersport, and yeah, that's it really.
Rhys, a win here at Donington. Wow, Dad must be well happy with that.
Yeah, I'd say he is. The whole team has had a really, really good weekend, with Keelan being on the podium as well. And then I had a few podiums yesterday, but this race I was up for it and I really wanted a win before I went home. So it's nice to get a win now, first race, and hopefully I can get another one second race.
Well, you come over so far to get to every round. I mean, it must be such a hike for you, and the whole team works really, really hard. So well done. Who else have you got to thank?
Just everyone really, the team, Gary, Trevor, Mum, Dad, Keelan, Keelan's always helping me, Tui Brake Lines, Motor Direct, RST, Johnny Towers, Ari, Motal, True Strength, Trevor Scott Resmore, because without him I wouldn't be here. And then a huge thanks to James Gallagher, Oasis Bar, because if it wasn't for him, he's always been supporting me, so it's hoping I can get a few more wins for him.
Join us again after the break. The sun is shining here at Donington Park for race 2. The same could not be said for race 1 when that man there, 54 Sam Cox, took a brilliant race win. Will Keynes here just fell back through the pack a bit earlier on in race 1, so he'll look to try and get a few decent points here. There is Sam Cox and Will Hodgson here, number 14. You can never count Will out of the championship fight. In the background there, Matty Rangeley, number 93. There's Keelan Irwin. We'll have cameras on board both Will, number 14, and Keelan again. Aprilia Superteens, don't forget, we'll see their highlights after this race and after the break. But let's concentrate then for now on the 450s. Away from the line we go. It looks like Sam Cox is going to be taking a championship lead into Snetterton no matter what, but how big will it be? We'll soon find out. We're on board here with Keelan Irwin, just up ahead of him there, Will Keynes. That's Sam Cox just going around the outside of him, around Redgate Corner and down into Craner Curves. It's Will Hodgson that has the early lead though. Will up ahead of another Will Keynes. So it's Hodgson versus Keynes. Hodgson 14, Keynes 7, then Sam Cox, number 54. So Cox will be very happy to be taking the championship lead to Snetterton. How large can he make that championship lead? There is Keelan Irwin. There's Matthew Rangeley just up behind him. A bit further back there, you see 73, Cameron Tenzing Jenkins and Connor Sellers, number 39. Connor making his debut in the 450 championship for this season. Forward here with Keelan Irwin, just struggling in the early stages to stick with the leading trio. So down the back straight we go. There is Will Hodgson that leads, number 14, just up ahead of Will Keynes, but Will Keynes pulls out of the slipstream, can't quite get a move made on Will Hodgson. Sam Cox, the race 1 winner, in 3rd place. He kept himself very clean and out of trouble in race 1, Sam Cox, and it looks like he's trying to find a way through already. Look at this though, here on board with Keelan Irwin, that's Matt Rangeley, who's just gone past him, but Keelan Irwin's gone back past him again. They're joined by 196 Jack Tynan, who just missed out on a podium place in race 1. So here's your leading trio. 2 groups of 3 then for the battle for first and then the battle for fourth. Will Hodgson, 14. Number 7, Will Keynes. 54, Sam Cox. All 3 riders know of each other very well. They're all good pals off circuit as well. Very polite, but it's fair to say that they have had their fair share of scraps over the years on circuit. They have swapped paint quite a few times. Will Hodgson, more than most. Sam Cox, as he mentioned in his interview after his race 1 win, he's been a bit up and down in the last couple of seasons, but he's starting to get to grips with things again now. Winning is becoming a little more familiar as he now pulls out of the slipstream, but thinks better of it. Stays in 3rd for now. It's Will Hodgson that still leads this one from Will Keynes. Will Hodgson does carry some excellent corner speed through that final chicane as they make their way onto the start-finish straight. A bit of pit board information there for race leader Will Hodgson. They're already coming up on some traffic. That's Ben Ashcroft that they're just putting a lap on, and that's not helped Will Keynes too much, or Sam Cox. Will Hodgson really capitalised on that one. Will Keynes then falls back into 3rd place and Sam Cox up to 2nd. Now Sam is going to try and do what he can to bridge the gap down to Will Hodgson. Into the old hairpin we go. See them both there pushing the front end, and Sam Cox just using a bit of the exit curb. Will Hodgson, as I mentioned before, always up there in the championship, but it's not yet won that Aprilia 450 championship, and how he would love to do that this year. He's going to, oh blimey, as they go around a few more back markers here at Coppice Corner. He's going to have to get himself a bit more of a solid start, Will Hodgson. He could do with the win here. Number 14 in the background there then, the battle for 2nd place. Will's got himself just a little bit of breathing space as they go down into the chicane. Sam Cox in 2nd, number 54, the race 1 winner, Will Keynes, who well, he was fighting for the lead earlier on, and then it just all went away from him in the end, finishing in 7th place. So he'll definitely want to be on the podium this time around. Just saw Will's dad there with a stony looking face down on pit wall, probably getting a bit nervous. On board now with Will Hodgson then, your race leader on the Ron Hodgson Cars Aprilia, down through Craner curves. At the moment, he'll be pleased to see what we're all looking at, which is a bit of clear track. Good job he hasn't got rear view mirrors, because Sam Cox has closed that gap down a bit. Will Keynes is following him as well. So any moment now we might see a change. This is 4th place Keelan Irwin, and he's just lost out there. And he's just struggling a bit by the looks of things, Keelan Irwin, as he tries to filter his way through a little bit of traffic. He's joined by Matt Rangeley, Jack Tynan and Alex Taylor. But Keelan Irwin not looking like he's going to be fighting for the win on this occasion. Into Coppice Corner then for Keelan. 5th place he's been demoted to for now. And that's because the rider just up ahead on circuit is Casey Wyatt, number 6. Casey, who started out as an Aprilia Superteen back in 2008, the very first season that Thundersport started the Superteen series, and then went on to 125 GP, raced a bit for, I believe, the GB Moto team in British Championship, and is now out there testing himself on these 450s. Yellow flags waving down into turn 1. Who was that on the right there? That's a rider who's just gone off on the right-hand part of the circuit, hopefully not one of the leaders. Well, where's Sam Cox gone? Sam Cox has just gone missing. Number 14, there's Will Hodgson. Number 7 is Will Keynes, but Sam Cox is not part of this leading trio and has gone missing, so I wonder if that was Sam who's maybe run into some trouble. And that's a shame for Sam. Well, he was going to be the championship leader no matter what going into Snetterton, but his lead's going to be cut now. Will Hodgson and Will Keynes could certainly do with the points, and another waved yellow flag there for another rider over at Coppice Corner as well. Mind you, that looked like a rider with orange and white leathers on as well. Well, something's happening to Sam either way. On board here with Keelan Irwin, so he's now been pushed up into 4th place. And up ahead of him is Casey Wyatt now, who is on the podium, or not for long. Here comes Keelan Irwin, pulls out of the slipstream. Oh, this will be close. Oh, that was a little bit too close there, as he comes up to a Superteen who's clearly been in the gravel because his tyres were looking like they'd got a bit of dust on them. There's all sorts going on here then. There is Will Hodgson. There is 66 Rhys Irwin, who's part of the Superteens. There is Will Keynes then just up behind. It's between these two for the race win, the two Wills. Will Hodgson, number 14. Will Keynes, number 7. Through Craner Curves we go. Keelan Irwin and Casey Wyatt at the moment battling it out for the remaining podium place. So you're looking at the fight for the top spot. Will Hodgson there, number 14, taking a defensive line through McLean's. Will Keynes just up behind. Will Keynes is trying to find a way through here. He might make room. Up into Coppice Corner we go. Just got a couple of laps left then in this race. This is Keelan Irwin, number 69. Now Keelan hasn't got anyone in front of him, so it looks like he's managed to get himself past Casey Wyatt and into third place. Into Coppice goes Keelan. Onto the back straight, so the Irishman so far looking pretty good. Here we go then, to begin the final lap of the race for the 450s. Will Hodgson has the advantage. Thumbs up there from Will Keynes' dad. Will Keynes is in second place, and this is the battle for third, and that's Casey Wyatt going up underneath Keelan Irwin, but running out of room. Keelan Irwin gets back past again and retakes third place. These are your leaders, number 14 there and number 7 Will Keynes, 14 Will Hodgson. They've just got a bit of traffic to deal with here as they come through Hollywood and down into Craner Curves. That doesn't look like it's worked out too well for Will Keynes. He's had a bit more work to do, so Will's going to have to try and push now to get himself up with Will. Both of these riders need the points. Sam Cox, as I mentioned, he's going to be the championship leader no matter what. They both need to finish first and second, but I don't think that really matters in their head at the moment. They are both going to go for this one. There is Will Keynes, number 7. Where can he find a place to put a move on Will Hodgson? It looks like he might leave it until the final chicane. Nice drive there from Will Keynes. Onto the back straight we go. They've got a bit of traffic up ahead as well. Will that play a big part here as we get down into the chicane? Will Hodgson has got the inside line and he's braking late, and I think Will Keynes is settling for those 20 points. A good win here for Will Hodgson. He gets himself straight back into championship contention with the 25 points. Brilliant stuff from him, and Will Keynes there does take second place. Now, what about the battle for third further back? It looked like it might be Keelan Irwin, and it was Keelan Irwin. Casey Wyatt went missing in the end. Keelan Irwin takes third place just by a tenth ahead of Jack Tynan. Matt Rangeley finished in 5th place, and Alex Taylor in 6th. There's your top 3 then. Will Hodgson, centre of your screen. Will Keynes on the left, and Keelan Irwin on the right. And in the championship, Sam Cox with the championship lead as we mentioned before, but only 6 points clear of Will Keynes. Will Hodgson, he needed that 25 points. He's up in 3rd.
Well, what a way to go away for this weekend. I mean, unbelievable for you, really, isn't it? I mean, you can be right down in the dumps and you can be bang up there again, and you must be there now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Brands Archer's down in the dumps, and yeah, like you say, a bit of a roller coaster. You can go from one extreme to the other, but yeah, just I think I've been fortunate with the weather's been a bit hit and miss, so the pace hasn't been too hot, which has made it. Not saying it was easy, but it's made it a little bit less hard work than if them boys were cracking out the laps non-stop. They'd be struggling to hang on to the shirt tails, but no, mega race. I'm sorry for Sam going down, and I don't want to see him go down. I would like to have a battle to the line and quickie sky win, really.
Excellent. And who you got to thank?
Thank Ron Hodgson Specialist Cars, Joe Hodgson, in competition Ian, Myra, Gibbo, Dave Lewis, Jimmy, Nitro Helmets, Pipeworks, Ian and all the boys. All Beach Motorcycle Tyres do a great job. Thundersport, all the Marshall Medics officials, Dunlop. Yeah, just everyone that's helped me. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Just one more race to go. The highlights of Superteens Race 2 up after this break. Donington Park, the Dunlop Aprilia Superteens Race 2 highlights coming up. The sun is shining. The wind is still blowing a fair bit here at Donington Park. We just saw the 450s go out. now we turn our attention to the Aprilia Superteens. 3 riders in contention in race 1. Number 66, the eventual winner, Rhys Irwin. Number 77, Cade Verwey. And number 55, Jack Scott. Now both Rhys Irwin and Cade Verwey are on the Aprilia RRV 450R, which is the 450 Aprilia but restricted to half the power. And then Jack Scott there with the green wheels. We're on board with him here on the JJ Racing Aprilia RS125, the production super team that you've seen out on circuit for many a year. And here you can see not much of a speed difference as they head down through Craner curves, and you can see that Jack Scott already trying to make some progress. Just losing a bit on grunt on the exit of the corners. Doesn't matter so much at parts of the circuit like this, as Jack Scott puts on a decent move, or attempts to put on a decent move to Rhys Irwin. And certainly as we come out of Coppice Corner and onto the main start-finish straights, where you notice the biggest difference. Might not be so much of a difference in terms of outright top speed, but the straight here just not quite long enough. Of course, this is the national circuit, which shortens the, which lengthens the back straight, but it's just not long enough for Jack Scott to be able to do anything about it. Here we are. Let's get a proper look at it here. You can just see the 450R there pulling away, but not a lot in it, is there? Not a lot in it at all, as Jack Scott neatly moves up ahead of Rhys Irwin. Jack Scott, it's fair to say, probably with more work to do on an Aprilia RS125, but he looks pretty comfortable on it. The 450Rs though, I'd say they're just about the perfect speed. They've just about got enough grunt for you to want one, haven't they? I think of the two, I'd probably just about go for one of them, but hey, I'm a bit lazy, so I would say that. This is number 77, Cade Verwey, finishing second in race 1, closing up in the championship between him and Rhys Irwin. It'd close even more if the results were to stay the same as you're looking at them on screen. Verwey at the moment the leader from Scott and Rhys Irwin. On board here with Cade Verwey then, looking back towards the RS125 Aprilia of Jack Scott. Look at that, Jack Scott getting right up with him now. Let's see how the speed differences compare this time around as they make their way onto the back straight. A wide line there taken from Jack Scott. Here we go onto the back straight. Yeah, you can just see there the grunt onto the back straight, the difference for Cade Verwey. Jack Scott, I reckon he's having some fun though, watching himself close up. Look at the different lines they're taking there, down into the chicane. Jack Scott will be just desperate to get himself down into Redgate Corner here to give himself a chance at getting past Cade Verwey. Getting past is one thing, it's staying ahead, although the pair of them have dropped race 1 winner Rhys Irwin back in 3rd place. As it stands, well, Cade Verwey can finish in the top 2 here, and I think he'd probably still leave as championship leader, but there won't be a lot in it. There'll just be a handful of points between himself and Rhys Irwin. On board now with Jack Scott then. Look at the speed that he's carrying around Craner curves. He goes around the outside there at Craners, which gives him the inside line into the old hairpin, and this is a really good showing from Jack Scott. Number 55, the Luton rider on the JJ Racing Aprilia, going past Cade Verwey. Now Cade will want to try and attack back immediately. Let's see what he's got on the Aprilia 450R. Jack Scott hasn't been in this position as yet, so Cade Verwey needs to just use that grunt advantage. Onto the back straight we go. Jack Scott, here he is, weaving around, and there goes Cade Verwey back out into the lead. Jack Scott, look at that, taking a really wide line around the outside. Brilliantly done from Jack Scott there on the 2-stroke. Brilliant examples there of the strengths of both machines as they go onto the start-finish straight, and they are side by side once more as they head down into turn 1. But what a brilliant overtaking manoeuvre, and brave from Jack Scott there, number 55. He is trying just about every trick in the book here to find their way past the bike with the slightly more grunt. Here we go then, down into Craners. This is where Jack got it last time, and he might fancy another nibble here. He's going to go the long way round, and he'll give him the inside line again, down into the old hairpin. So just as we were on the last lap, Cade Verwey has got to try now and find a way to close in on the back straight. Further back, there is number 97, Lawrence Edgley, fighting it out with Connor Thompson, number 8, and Max Lofthouse, number 24. Those guys just inside the top 5 in the Superteens. Rhys Irwin still in a bit of a lonely third, but here is the battle for the win. Cade Very again getting it done on the straight, but here comes Jack Scott. Will he be able to get the move done on the outside, because there's another rider there? Oh, not this time, but look at this. He goes round the outside. Oh no, not there. Surely not. Brilliant stuff. Jack Scott here. Well, I tell you what, he deserves a big round of applause no matter what happens to him at the end of this race. Some brilliant racing on display from the 125 rider. It waved yellows down into turn 1, so Cade Very won't be allowed to repass him there. As you look back and you can see, there is the two 450 leaders going past, one of them going past Rhys Irwin. That's Will Hodgson and Will Keynes. Will they catch up with the other group up ahead before the end of this lap? You'll have to wait and see. But that move by Jack Scott, that was absolutely phenomenal. He did it the lap before down into here, then he went round the outside at the second part of the chicane. Jack Scott thoroughly deserves 25 points here as they make their way onto the start-finish straight. Cross the line then for Jack Scott, and the last lap flag is now out. Cade Very then in second place, running out of time here if he wants to get the job done, and here come the leading group. Oh, trouble at mill, I think it's fair to say here, as there are two battles for two races going on. Will Hodgson goes underneath one, Will Keynes filters through. Well, that didn't cause too much trouble, so they can carry on with their race, we can carry on with ours. Jack Scott there then, the advantage with half a lap to go. Cade Very is going to have to put together a couple of monumental corners here if he wants to close up overall. You see there number 50, Aditya Bihal, just going up past Jake Clark. Both of those guys on the production RS 125s. But this is Jack Scott, the JJ Racing Aprilia 125. No sign of Cade Very. So is he going to get it just to the line? The checkered flag is out. And I tell you what, you won't see many better Aprilia Super Team performances than that. Jack Scott thoroughly deserves that one after two brilliant moves down into the final chicane. He takes the win from Cade Very. Rhys Irwin finishes in third place ahead of Lawrence Edgley. Max Lofthouse then was in fifth place. And you may well smile, young man. Jack Scott, race winner overall. Let's see what that does to the championship. Very then 3 points is all ahead of Rhys Irwin, with Max Lofthouse in third. Jack Scott's win there lifts him up to fourth, ahead of Lawrence Edgley and Connor Thompson.
Jack, so there's nothing wrong with the two strokes at all. Great win.
Yeah, it was a good win riding on the two stroke. Just made a little adjustments to the gearing, which gave me the extra pull down the straights. So yeah, it was a good race.
Did you feel that you had it like not so good out of the corners grunt wise, but maybe had just a touch on the other bikes in the slipstream, on the top end?
Yeah, definitely. I think I've got maybe a little bit of an edge coming, like corner speed wise, but maybe not otherwise.
So maybe it could be a top notch at Snetterton for you.
Yeah, could be good. So I'm looking forward to it.
Anyone to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the Two Wheel Centre, Amber Leisure, Liberty Bishop, Revo Sunglasses, EBC, and Mum and Dad and everyone else who supports me.
So the sun sets on another round for ThundersportGB, and let's hope it follows us to Snetterton. That's next up, round 3. See you then.